Hi there, this is Jimmy Roberts. When it comes to the game of golf, there is no place on earth like the metropolitan area. It's always been a special place for the game of golf and also for golf writing. Some of the most esteemed and accomplished journalists covering the game work here. Now, you'll get a chance to hear them right here on the Metropolitan Golf Writers Association podcast. Enjoy.
Megha Ganne, welcome to the program. So pleased that you could be part of this new endeavor for the Met Golf Writers Association. Excited to have you on.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk to you guys.
I know that it's kind of a crazy time of the year, so I know we're catching you at a critical time. You probably have. I'm assuming you're not on trimesters, correct? So
we are on trimesters.
Oh, you are. So you don't have finals per se.
Yeah.
Coming up or anything?
Well, not coming up, but we're in the middle of the last trimester.
Oh, you're in the middle of the last trimester. Okay, so you just so at least it's not the traditional semester. So we have finals probably close to now. So that's probably a little helpful.
Yeah,
You just came off the ACC championship. Now you have the national, the NCAA's next week.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a busy time of the year for you.
Yeah, it is. Most schools I think are out of school by the time we're playing our national championship, but we'll still be in it. But I guess it's kind of good, keeps you in the routine because every other tournament we play is during the school year. So the weather's really nice this time of year, so I like all this back-to-back golf. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than the West Coast. So I love being out there when I was out there, and the weather's great, especially up north where you get a lot more seasonal feeling to it. Not quite the East Coast like in New Jersey where you're from, or New York where I'm from, where you've been spared the harsher parts of the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
very spoiled by this weather now.
I know it's going to be hard to come back. I'm telling you, you may not. I mean, but I understand if you don't. Believe me, I was pretty close staying out there myself. But just curious, since we're talking about school, what's a typical day like for you, while you're in the middle of the semester?
Yeah, it changes. It changes quarter to quarter. We have our fall, winter, and spring quarters. So, spring I try to take school as lightly as possible, less units, not a lot of attendance heavy classes. So, right now can't say that I have too much work to do. Just going to class like just once a day maybe, and mostly just spending my time at the golf course and at the gym. Winter and fall though, definitely a little different. I'm in class couple hours every day, and then doing at least 2 to 4 hours of work on top of that, and then maybe a lot less golf. So it's just a give and a take. I try to schedule it so that it works to my advantage, but right now is my favorite time of year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to schedule yourself. You set yourself up for success, right? So you schedule it the right way, and in this way, you can give yourself a lot, focus on golf, and not that you're not focused on school, but you obviously plan it accordingly because you guys playing in the ACC, you travel a lot. You got a lot. You just came off your fifth invitational to the women's Augusta National Championship, Amateur Championship. Your fifth time. What can you tell us about that and that experience?
It was really cool. It definitely gets no less special each time. I felt really good about my golf game going into it. It was definitely a big confidence booster for me that week. I think going out and just shooting some really good scores and hitting the shots under pressure and teeing it up at Augusta National, everything else following that definitely feels a little bit easier because that's the hardest point of the year in my opinion. So just remembering that experience, pulling all the good memories that I can, and carrying some of those shots I hit under pressure that I had into some tournaments coming up is really key for me. And yeah, it was really fun event to be there with basically my whole team was pretty cool too.
Oh, I can imagine. I mean, it's and to be there, it's one thing to be there once, but to be there 5 times, and it's obviously a property that is no stranger to you. I mean, you've been a part of the drive, chip, and putt. How much has that helped you, having been on property, and sort of and having that experience there? You sort of, I don't want to say you take it for granted, but you understand the feeling of what it's like to be there on those grounds, and it does have a unique energy to it. The experience from even as a young kid must have been helpful.
Yeah, I still say that the drive, chip, and putt is the most pressure that I've ever felt to
Really?
this day. So
Really?
yeah, 100%. I think it's like very hard format, very difficult to just show up one day at Augusta National in April and be expected to hit these shots, just 9 of them, and feel like it defines you. So that type of pressure I have yet to feel again in any other part of my career, which is kind of cool and crazy to say. And
Yeah.
I really love watching the drive, chip, and putt on TV now. Um, yeah, it's a
You
really
don't
great
have to,
event, and
you don't have to participate in it, so so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it actually did prepare me. I know it's very different from a normal round of golf, and it's just a skills competition. But a lot of the takeaways that I had on how to handle pressure and knowing that I like feeling that type of pressure, going to a venue as cool as Augusta National at that age, that doesn't take away from the competition at all. And I think anyone who gets to play in it and qualify, it's a really good opportunity to see if you feel like you can handle that type of pressure. And I've definitely learned a lot of lessons even when I was just 11, 12 years old that I think I've carried with me till today.
well,
Yeah.
I think it's a credit to you, and the fact that you've been there 4 times, and the way you phrased it, because you said it in a very nice way, because you said like that you want that kind of pressure, right? That kind of pressure is a privilege, but you also want it because there are lots of people who like to play sports and don't want that pressure, and that's not a judgment. I'm just saying it takes a specific kind of person to really want to put themselves, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? And you
Mm.
want to go back in that pressure. And what you said, which is an interesting to say that someone as accomplished as you and as decorated as you. I mean, the list goes on of everything that you've accomplished. And I'll when this gets published, I'll put out a graphic of everything that you've accomplished. But to say that the drive, chip, and putt is the most pressure, that says something.
Yeah, it does. It is very true though. But I think pressure just means that you care a lot, and like having something you care about that much and being able to compete at whatever the highest level or the level you are competing at and feel like it matters that much to you, it is a privilege no matter what the sport is. So I think that's what I like about it, just knowing that, you it's nice that whatever you feel like you're doing is very important to you. So I think it's a privilege in that way.
You said
So yeah, definitely look forward to the big events.
you said something interesting, and I think very and appropriate, because especially as athletes, you said that the drive, chip, and putt was something is the most high pressured situation you've ever been in for something that defines you. Isn't that so hard to separate the two? Because I think as athletes, we always, for some portion of our time, can't separate the two. And we are defined by our either achievements or failures. And golf, of course, as we know, we fail more than we achieve. How do you separate that, a bad day on the golf course doesn't make Megha Ganne a bad person in life? It's really a difficult thing.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think what I was trying to say earlier was not that it defines you as a person, those
Right.
shots that you hit in the
Yeah.
DCP, but more so like your finished how you finish like in the competition is just a few shots, which is even less than you would get in a real round of golf. So
Right.
that's what I meant. But
Okay.
I don't think I've ever struggled with defining myself apart from my golf game. I think like I have a really healthy like group of people around me, and like my personal life has also always felt so separate from my golf game that um I mean, a good example is I didn't feel like I played great at our recent ACC championship, but that didn't change anything about came back and still hung out with my friends, still, nothing changes on campus. And I have people in my life that no one treats me any differently, whether I play really well or really poorly. So I think just cultivating an environment around me, like it starts from my household as well. Like my parents and my sister, obviously, like the main people who like promote that type of mentality. But like recreating that in college and at Stanford has been really nice. And uh, yeah, I've always felt that golf is a very small part of my life. I mean, obviously, people who don't know me only know me from my golf game, but it is in my head a small part of my life, and there's a lot more to it than just what you shoot.
But you do see that, I'm sure, in athletes in general. It's understandable to that people do feel it's hard. I mean, I think as we're growing up, we kind of feel like we are defined by how and it takes, it's a real credit to your family and your parents that they've always been well grounded and always kept things in perspective for you.
Yeah, I think it is easy to fall into that trap. I mean, it gets even harder if you're the only one that really believes in that, but I think just finding a few people who really can like keep you grounded in the larger perspective has been my key in
Sure.
like, putting golf in the box that it is and not letting it take over everything else.
No, I think that's a really healthy perspective, because I think athletes struggle with that in general, and we talk about mental health all the time, and especially nowadays, it's nice that it's part of the conversation because it is taxing, and I don't think that was always the case, and I think you're at a reaping the benefit of being in a world where we've normalized a lot of that kind of stuff. And it seems like between your family and the coaching staff and everybody at Stanford, it seems like there's a really healthy perspective of balancing competitive nature of sport, but also keeping a certain level of a mental health and emotional hygiene that's important to people.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a huge part of like what makes an athlete successful, and I do think it's a larger part of the conversation than maybe it has been historically. But yeah, it's super important. You're not going to be a good golfer unless your off course life feels in check. So I think like golf's about way more than just you have to have a healthy emotional
Yeah.
and mental health life to play physically good golf. So that's just the truth, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I want to just jump back to the Augusta National. We've heard so much about it, and you have so much experience there, and being fortunate to walk in those fairways and play some of those shots that you've seen now over, through the history on the Golf Channel or in previous broadcasts. Is there anything? I feel like
Hmm.
you all know so much about it. I'm wondering, is there anything that is sort of underrated that you don't think people talk enough about? Is that even, I know that's a difficult question because it's so exposed, but is there anything that you love, a subtle
Yeah.
nuance to it that you love?
I think it's hard to say just one. I mean, I know the major one is that people say you can't see the elevation on TV, and people say that all the time, but
Sure.
that's true. I think how big and hilly the golf course is does not get captured, and that adds an intimidation factor. I think when you're playing it for the first few times, that you cannot tell. I think how many of the putts are very nuanced, how they break in completely opposite directions to which you would believe is true. I know it's really fun for me now to watch the Masters on TV. Um, actually watching the Masters, um, it was on hole, I think 13, where Rory had missed a putt for birdie, like in the exact same spot that I was putting from, and it was tracking. Like you really would have thought it was going to go in, and I was like, oh, that's definitely going to move the other way, like inches
Yeah.
from the hole, and it did. So like that was really cool. Um, but I think there's just so many nuances to that golf course in general that I don't think anyone ever truly figures them all out. But it'll still surprise you how much you don't know about the golf course every time you play it. But I mean, it's beautiful, which that part is everybody knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine. I mean, like I said, I knew that was a hard question because I think we all know so much about it that it's hard to find little things that I think people appreciate. And no, but you're right. I think
Hmm.
people do talk about the hilly, but I think you make a good point. I'm not sure people talk about the scale as much as you would. It's a big, brawny place, and as beautiful it is, but the scale of it is very, very, very. It's on a much larger scale than you might imagine it is.
Hmm.
Do,
Yeah.
do you and there's not I want to say like it's there's nothing like it back east that we have that we could like the only I don't know if you've ever been to Glen Oaks where they played the PGA played that event at one point on Long Island. But
No, I have not.
Glen Oaks is very similar. It's very very lush like that. It has big flashed white sand bunkers like Augusta, but we don't have anything like other that would be like the closest thing, and that's something but just bringing it back to the East Coast and growing up, like you've never seen anything like Augusta National before.
No, I don't think there's a golf course that quite compares to it. But yeah, you just gotta go and see it for yourself, I guess.
Yeah. What do you when you come back home, where do you like to play? What's been some of your favorite places to in the Met area that you've been either played, for fun or been invited to or competed in? Do you have any like or just a place that you just love to go and play and practice?
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to play and practice out of Liberty National for the past few years, so that's been really fun. I grew up in Jersey City, so it's really nice. Feels like home, and I feel like I can just go see my friends after practice and go hang out because they all still live there. So that's been really nice. I love Bayonne. I think that's a really cool golf course. It doesn't really feel like you're in New Jersey while you're playing it. All the Long Island courses are fantastic. I've played most of them. Um, I love Winged Foot. Um, that one's really good. I've played Pine Valley a good amount of times. Can't say that I like that one that much yet because I've yet to put a good round up there.
Understand.
But there is just so much good golf in the Northeast, and I feel like yeah, I'm pretty spoiled in the golf courses I've been able to play.
Sure.
And coming here to the West Coast now that I've been able to play like Cypress and Pebble and um SF Club. So
Yeah.
I feel like I've had the best of both the coasts in the last 5, 6 years.
It's not easy playing both coasts though. The grasses are much different, the rough is different, the grain is different. It's an interesting little I mean obviously here on the East Coast a lot more bent grass than you would see on the West Coast. So there is a little bit of an adjustment period. So it must be fun to have that variety in your life.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
What did you have any being local to Long Island, did you have any
Mhm.
um favorites on Long Island that you would put in your give me your top two that you played?
I really like Sabonic.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
newer course, but I really like it.
yeah.
Um,
They had the women's open there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I would put that one in my top in general, I guess, across the country.
really.
Um, yeah, and then Northeast in general. I feel like Marion is also in my top across the country as
Sure.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know that's farther
No, no, but
from New York,
that's
but
yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
still on the East Coast here, a little more in the Philly area.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, I
But
mean the tradition,
I'll,
beautiful golf course for sure.
yeah.
Does your sister play? Do your parents play? Do you play with them a lot, or is this just your endeavor?
My sister plays. She's a good golfer. And then my dad also plays. He's not as good as her, but he's he's a big driving range guy.
Oh yeah,
So he's the one that introduced me to the sport though, and he loves golf. My mom also loves golf. She does not play either, but she's a professional commentator on my golf game. So
Give me an example.
Um,
What does she say?
no, she's great. She's just funny. She thinks
Yeah.
like for someone, I guess if you don't play golf and you watch a lot of it, you can often think it's a lot easier than
Oh,
it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is. So
Okay. Yeah,
so she'll be like, "Why don't you just hit this shot like this and it'll be closer?" I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah.
Um, but I'm trying to get my mom to start playing more. I feel like that'd be good because
Yeah.
she's the last one who does it. Um, but yeah, we don't actually get to play that much as a family together, because we're just so busy. But
Sure.
maybe going forward, we'll try to get a few more days in.
Your dad, you said your dad introduced you to the game when you were, how old
Yeah,
were you when you started playing?
like 7.
7. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And was that, I don't know, generationally speaking, was it as popular a sport back then for you as like when I was growing up? Golf wasn't as big part of the scene at the time, but I was just curious, in your experience, was it more popular of a sport?
hmm
People playing it, more women playing it when you were growing up?
I think I mean, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was popular. I think it was definitely a rare sport to play. Definitely more, there was way more women and kids playing than, when I hear about 20, 30 years ago. But I mean, I think the recent post-COVID golf boom has just been crazy.
Yeah.
And like now being on a college campus and Stanford has its own golf course, the amount of students that play it's just unbelievable. And I'm sure that's the same across many different golf courses. But I think golf has definitely gotten a lot cooler, maybe, and a lot more widespread. So that's been really fun because I don't remember having that feeling when I first started. I mean, all the kids I grew up with that knew nothing about golf when we were kids all call me for golf tips now. So it's nice to see that the game is growing because I mean we all love it. So I'm glad more people are getting into it.
Well, I'm not sure you'll have time for yourself, but you'll at least have a nice side hustle
Yeah.
when you get home. That'll be a nice side
Yeah.
hustle for you. Yeah, it's funny because my daughter just recently just called me from school and said, I want to learn how to play golf this summer. And I was like, okay, yeah, like out of the blue. So yeah,
Yeah.
it just seems like it's definitely, part of the mainstream culture in a way that I don't remember it ever being, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally. I think there's way more stuff on like social media about golf and like yeah, just a lot more people in the loop about what it is and wanting to go play. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool. Yeah.
Um, I would just want to getting close to wrapping up here, but how are you guys? How
Mhm.
excited are you guys for the NCAAs? How do you guys feel as a team? What's the vibe like going into that? That's next week, correct?
Next week is our regionals, and then once if we finish through there in the top 5 teams, then we advance to nationals.
Okay.
But I think not much changes. I think a lot of the preparation has already been done through the whole year. We feel really good as a team. Team chemistry wise, I'm really proud of how we feel going into these next few weeks. And I think it's just about staying in your routine, doing all the stuff recovery wise, make sure you're getting in the reps last minute. But I'm really excited. Knowing the golf course this year for that, we won there last year, so I feel like we've got a little bit more knowledge that we're going to be able to spread to our pretty young team. We're going to have 3 freshmen in the lineup, 3 freshmen or two freshmen in the lineup. So, being able to like share some of the knowledge, let them know the type of shots and tee boxes and lines that we took last year, I think will be key. I think it's a great golf course for a national championship, great match play golf course. Super cool that they're going to make that the destination for the foreseeable future here. So
That's cool.
I'm really excited. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then
Yeah.
what are you, just curious because I forgot to ask earlier, what are you studying at school?
And I'm an STS major, which is Science Technology Society.
Mhm.
And then within that, you can choose a concentration, and mine's data and information. So it's like a technical and humanities mix of a major. So
Sure.
um, yeah, I just kind of ended up taking classes that was fulfilling a lot of that major, and it sounded interesting, and a lot of, the Bay Area is just very tech centric. So
Just
yeah, it
just
was,
just
felt
what
like a fitting major. Yeah. Yeah.
what do you think that you want to give pro golf a spin, or do you have any thoughts on it, or have you even started to think about it? I mean, it's obviously you're going to Stanford, you got a good head on your shoulders. Just curious if you, or even if that even is a question for you.
Yeah. I definitely think I'll give pro golf a go.
Yeah,
I
good.
don't think I was super certain on it actually coming into Stanford, but in the last few years, I think I'm more set on that being something to give a try. And yeah, just gonna give it full speed ahead while I can. And
Sure.
yeah, full year of college left yet though, so don't
Yeah.
rush me
No,
there.
you got time. No, you don't want to. You definitely don't want to rush college away for sure. No, definitely not. You got,
Yeah.
you've accomplished so much already, and I know there's plenty out there for you that you want to check off the list, so to speak. But you definitely want to take your time checking off the list.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I'll be taking my time.
For sure. Well, Megha, thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I know you've got school, you've got practice, you got regionals, NCAAs, all of it coming together to and at the end of the year here. But to take some time out of your schedule to talk to me is it's been a pleasure.
Oh, no worries. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you.
Glad we got to talk.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
And hopefully we'll have to tee it up when you come back on the East Coast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Megha.
All right.